What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the WARFRAME video. So, if you watched our video on Nourish, the Grendel helmet ability being buffed yesterday, you might have seen me talking briefly about a new Saryn build I put together. And calling it a new Saryn build is a little bit generous, as I have had builds with Nourish Saryn in the past. But yeah, now that it's been buffed massively, I have made a new build altogether about buffing your teammates, basically being support Saryn through massive damage buffs to your teammates and also massive energy regeneration buffs from Nourish. So we're going to go over Triple Threat Saryn today, and we'll explain why it's called Triple Threat Saryn in a little bit here. But before we get into it, make sure you are subbed to this channel if you want to see the daily WARFRAME video uploads that we do every day, obviously. And also check out the live stream channel as well. We will be streaming some more WARFRAME very, very soon. Also the new Destiny 2 season. Hopefully that's pretty good, huh? Alright, so Triple Threat Saryn, what's going on here? So, as we said the other day, the Nourish helmet ability from Grendel has been massively buffed. What it does now is it will give you viral damage buffs on your weapons. Also works on your teammates that are nearby you. It will also give you energy regeneration, not just energy orbs like it was at first. They've made it where it's all energy sources. Also, if an enemy shoots at you, they will take some viral procs as well. So it's very nice. Basically, think of a mini Mesmer skin. You get shot, enemy takes a viral proc nearby you. So that's going to be giving us some viral damage. We've also got the corrosive buff from her first ability. We're using the Venom Dose Augment mod, so we get some corrosive damage. So, as you see right here, corrosive damage from this, viral damage from this. We're technically playing Saryn, so we have the third ability, which gives us extra toxin damage. And to take it one step further, we're using a melee weapon that has base heat, and we're putting on a toxin mod to make a weapon like the Jack Cuissar or the Sylvan Aegis Prime have gas damage. This is one of the only ways in the game to get gas, corrosive, and viral all on the same build. You won't see it on here, but once you're in mission, that's what's going to happen. So if you don't have a Riven for the Jack Cuissar, you're going to really want some attack speed. So you can put on Gladiator Vice in this slot to give you some crit chance and some attack speed. But the big thing here is have a weapon modded for gas damage. It doesn't need to be a base heat weapon. As far as the build, it is going to be an Archon Shard build. I'm just going to quickly show you in the simulacrum what's meant to do this. Now, this makes the game feel too easy, honestly. If you are taking this onto that new Varuna survival mission, it feels like a Lith Fissure when you're using this, okay? So we use Lieutenant Ferox to just pull enemies in. But you see, if you get any semblance of combo multiplier, the enemies just fall over. We're not even using a CO primer, technically. And yeah, this is with no Bane mod, too, so if I was to stop attacking, of course, they would bleed out to the Toxin procs. But relatively nice. You know, that's what, like I said, no Bane mod, no CO primer. We're basically CO priming off our cell with all these status effects. As far as our Archon Shards, we've got one Tau Archon Shard for strength, two normal Archon Shards for additional strength. So we've got 3 strength Archon Shards, 1 Parkour Velocity Shard for moving from place to place better. Casting speed is not super important on Saryn in my opinion, but you could put this as casting speed or something else. And then 1 duration shard just for a couple extra seconds on our buffs. The annoying thing about this build, and let's just get some gameplay on the screen right now, because honestly the simulacrum is not going to show much here. The thing about this build is that you kill enemies so fast you can't build combo multiplier up. That's the problem. So if you want to go with Naramon to keep your combo going, be my guest, but the good footage you're seeing right here I believe had Madarai Focus School, which if you're doing these new Varuna survival nodes, having some good operator damage from Madarai will be nice for killing those Thrax. And you want to kill the Thrax as fast as possible. So the purpose of this build, as far as stats though, if you saw us talking about Nourish yesterday, you might have remembered I said you can basically just run Blind Rage on everybody now, and that's the case on Saryn too. So we've got a maxed out Blind Rage, giving us a ton of extra power strength, but reducing our ability efficiency. With this much power strength, we have a 4x multiplier on all regeneration sources, so every orb gives us 100, and of course over the course of the mission we have Molt Augmented, giving us more power strength, and if we also are using Madarai like I just said, that'll be a 5 times orb multiplier, giving 125. But the rest of this stuff on here, we want to have a little bit of range so we can make sure we hit our teammates with our buffs, because they do have a radius. The radius is 21.75 for Venom Dose, and I believe it's 36.25 for Nourish. So they're very different buff sizes and durations. So you need to keep that in mind when you're doing this. But honestly, like, the amount of buffing is hilarious. Like, it actually felt like a Lith Fissure when we were running this. Every couple of hits, every enemy's dead. It's supposed to be the Steel Path. I was asking during this, I'm like, is this scaling not turned on or something? This does not feel like the Steel Path at all. I'm guessing it is, even though it didn't feel that way. Additionally, we did subsume off Saryn's 4, so we can technically keep Saryn's first ability, Spores, going, to keep our Arcane Strike procced. If you didn't know this, the Arcane, called Arcane Strike, is going to proc off any hit. That does count from Saryn's Spores. So if you have Saryn's Spores going, it will be proccing Arcane Strike and giving you attack speed, which you sorely need for weapons like the Sylvan Aegis Prime and the Jack Hussar. So yeah, bunch of strength on here. Venom Dose Augment mod. You can technically take off Prime Flow. Saryn has a decently large energy pool without Prime Flow. If you want to put something else there, 300 would probably be fine. Like 77 energy to cast Nourish, 38 energy to cast Spores, 77 to cast Toxic Lash, and 77 to cast Molt. Now the problem is I want to always be able to cast Molt, so for safety and comfort reasons, I am going to run Prime Flow instead of, like another duration mod or whatever in that slot. Brief Respite, the Shield Gate. People always ask me, how do you survive as Saryn at level, like high levels? It's all about that Molt ability and that Shield Gate, dude. If you see in the gameplay footage right here, every time my shield breaks, I hit the second ability, my Molt goes out, and I'm basically invincible for a couple seconds. So yeah, that's how you survive as Saryn at high levels. Have like a Brief Respite, some Augur mods somewhere, and then just fully Shield Gate on every cast. She doesn't have a ton of shields, especially when you're running Blind Rage like this. You actually don't even need any Augur mods. Just Brief Respite's enough to fully Shield Gate. So as far as the weapons and all that, I showed the Jack Hussar with basically a gas build, so we make it gas, corrosive, and viral. But the Tenant Ferox, I've got to go with a utility build on the Tenant Ferox, and the Tenant Ferox is not necessary for what we're doing here, but I will show you what I'm currently working on. Unfortunately, Tenant weapons need 5 Forma to get full mastery out of them, and I don't want. There's no reason to 5 Forma the Tenant Ferox, honestly. It does not need it, but here's what I've gone with. So we've got Fractalized Reset. On ability cast, makes the reload speed really fast. When you throw the Ferox Spear, it takes a while to reload it. It has bad reload speed at base, in my opinion, so I have this on here for utility reasons. We've modded it for Radiation and Cold. Since we have Viral, Corrosive, and Gas already, we don't really need to mod for Viral and stuff like that. Additionally, when we put those buffs out, this Ferox will proc Viral and Corrosive on it as well, because we're using Saryn's abilities and Nourish to give this some stats it doesn't usually have. So let's quickly display that right here. Cast your buffs, throw the spear out, and they're taking Rad, Viral, and Corrosive. So that's very good for like debuffing them, also confusing the enemies so they'll shoot each other and not at us. So that's pretty nice. Didn't even have all the buffs active there. 2.3 million gas damage, and as you can see, now the Ferox is not exactly what I'm using for damage here at all, but I will probably have a damage Ferox video in the future, because it's a pretty fun weapon, just not a very amazing weapon. Besides utility, and it's not very different than normal Ferox as far as utility is concerned. We have a cold roll on the Ferox, as that's the only one that actually he's brought a magnetic one at this point. I'm gonna stick with the cold one for now, but maybe in the future I'd change it. As far as the Tenant Planks, expect a full Tenant Planks video out soon. I've actually been kind of enjoying the Tenant Planks. Not my favorite, but okay. You got a 60% magnetic roll, and this can kill high-level Steelpath enemies like no problem. And as far as the build, I am going to be trying out a Impact Planks eventually, but currently Synth Charge does work on the alt fire of the Planks. I hope they keep it like that because it's nice and fun, giving you increased damage on the final shot. But yeah, we've gone with a viral build here. It's got base heat, so it's viral, heat, magnetic, and puncture. Technically, we're not really capitalizing off the status chance here, but it's good. The magnetic procs will not dilute your, will not change your. Basically, if you got Toxin Roll on this thing, since it has base heat, it would make it so some builds are not possible, honestly. So I'm going to either go with a heat one or an impact one in the end, but the magnetic one's been working very well, and I might just keep this one too. I've been enjoying the magnetic planks for multiple reasons. One of them being the whole magnetic procs destroying the enemy's shields. But like with this build, we're buffing it so much, it doesn't even matter what element you have. You could have a cold planks for all I care, or an electric one, and it would be totally A-okay. So yeah, really fun build right here. Like I said, it does buff my teammates. If there's a Valkyrie in our squad, if Valkyrie's affected by this, they're never going to leave there too. As long as they get 1 energy orb, they'll be back, or rather they're 4. They'll keep being able to jump back into it. So yeah, not an everyday Saryn build, but a fun Saryn build that I do think you should give a shot at some point. Because, especially for melee playstyles, like it is a weapon buffer Saryn through and through. It's not like, now this is not as good as Sobek Saryn for killing enemies as fast, but for high level enemies like this, I mean, I'm not even CO procking them. They're just jumping up here and dying to like almost 1 million damage. So, yeah, of course, you can use other melees. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a gas one, but I thought it was fun to have the triple threat gas, corrosive heat, because that's not something you can ever really do. And it would only be possible with Saryn in the squad, because the way that these elementals work is that combined elementals will not, combine into other things with this kind of setup. That's why the gas is going to stay down there, the corrosive is going to stay on there, the viral is going to stay on there. And it's really nice for debuffing enemies and killing enemies for that. that matter. So hope you guys found this video helpful. Archon shards. I actually was thinking maybe Archon shards I go with more duration in the future because the buffs, you're recasting so many buffs. But at the same time, like, just pay attention to it, and it's technically more damage than a strength shards. So I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate all the support, and take it easy. Peace.